I guess it took a little bit longer than expected. We said to make sure all the casters and players and everyone were ready and in game. And your cat seriously looks super chill right now. I am so jelly.
I can't believe he's so comfortable.
I just want to be clear. Like, I'm not jealous, like, of you or your cat. I'm jealous of your cat specifically because he looks so relaxed. And I feel like I could never be that relaxed. I could never chill out as hard as he does there.
Oh, he's thinking about
Did I caster curse it?
Oh, no. No.
Okay. I hate, by the way, the amount of awesome Overwatch fan art in my Reddit thread, in my Twitter thread right now, Twitter feed, excuse me, makes me just want to like spam everybody with these retweets. But okay. TvZ, whether they're ready or not, I think we should just go. It's been like 5 minutes. If they can't fit a 2 to 3 minute add in like 5 minutes, then they need to clean up their way of doing things. Anyways, Orena up next. Actually, as I hastily say we should go, I realize my intro is not loaded for this, so we're going to skip the intro for this one. Let's go to the boring old load screen. But this is now going to be a ZVT. It's going to be aLive versus NoRegreT. Now, this one, I think give me a year ago for StarCraft 2. This isn't even like a close matchup. And it still might be a little bit one-sided. All things considered, though, our foreigner in this one, I'll do the intros on him first, has been performing quite well. Went to Korea, lives in Korea currently, and even had not bad showings, almost qualifying for GSL and whatnot. So, very great to see him doing well. In the bottom left, it's going to be Skystorm Gaming's NoRegreT.
In the top left, as the Red Terran, he is aLive.
Alive! Playing for Dopin. Is it Stim Pack, I guess? I don't know. We talked about this last time with all sorts of similar confusion. But early pull, early gas out of our buddy Jake, the Canadian Zerg. This is something where if he's really looking all in aLive several games in a row, I think this first game is going to be the best indicator of whether it will work or not. Orena's a short rush distance. It's the map you would hope you would best catch somebody off guard on. And while aLive is certainly somebody to proxy Reaper you, I don't know that he's expecting this out of NoRegreT or not. We do, because we've seen NoRegreT. We know his play style. We've seen him play like this for years. As far as aLive is concerned, this kid only just showed up on his radar recently.
Yeah. I don't know. NoRegreT, I guess, for us really is different than for Koreans who like don't really pay attention to. It's gonna sound bad, but like someone like NoRegreT, a foreigner who hasn't been like winning tournaments or hasn't been like his most notable achievement for Koreans right now is actually going to Korea. And I don't know if Afrika Freaks has like heard about his style from like the MVP guys.
Well, it is worth noting too. Like, well, we say this in a bit of a condescending manner. Even good foreigners don't get considered by Koreans in some instances. Like, well, I know specifically I've asked them about Snoot, and they're like, I don't know, I'm not really watching Snoot right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why like it's either they win something, and like I think they might know Neeb because he has talked about so much and he's been winning, getting close to winning anyway. But like like no one else.
Oh yeah, Koreans are actually straight up. I remember we talked about having Neeb last. I can't remember what we did with Koreans and Neeb, but I remember them specifically saying, "Oh, we don't want to fight against Neeb." Like, yeah.
So it wasn't really meant at Podshots to NoRegreT. He's actually been doing very well, and I think Korea's actually suiting him very well as well. Well. But it is just a case where he might not know.
So.
But you're going to figure out very quickly with this first game.
This looks really ineffective right now. You're thinking, this Reaper's doing a terrible job. Cleans up the lings. NoRegreT must be screwed now. But the intention behind this was the 3 Ravagers, more so than anything else. And the longer it took the Reaper to scout this, the higher chance he gets away with it. And the Overlord's going to be in high ground vision. He's going to try and pop this off. But there's a bunker at the top of that ramp that's good against the Bailing Bust. Not so good against Ravagers.
I think aLive is actually fine. Like, Orena, the problem with Orena and cheesing on it is that it is predictable because there's the cheeses like that are actually like, totally all in like NoRegreT's doing. And then there's like that 3 roach early attack like you do on 2 bases for Zerg. So it's just something that is to be expected. I mean, the fact that those Lings didn't get a SEV kill on the building command center on the low ground is already a big deal. It's already actually like a really nice thing for aLive, and to have a bunker on top of that, this isn't going to be floods of Lings. It's going to be, annoying to deal with Corrosive Bile, but I think he's got this.
I don't know.
Fortunately, I wasn't able to get the Overlord.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to hinge on how these Corsair Battles hit those SCVs. Like, if you start picking off more SCVs and can prepare properly, then the bunker really doesn't matter. He is pushing up, I'd say, a little brazenly into this and trying to get on top of this before it tanks out. But, again, with the advantage of Corsair Bile, might not be an issue. And there's no repair going down right now, Zombie Grub. These three Marines going to get focused. Although Ravagers don't have a lot of health, and SCV surrounds are not too terrible in this situation. In fact, Corsair Bile just hits his own Ravager and Roach pretty hard there.
Yeah. And 7 SCVs killed still doesn't even put him at even, so things are looking very bad for NoRegreT. If he had a Speedling flood with that,
yes,
it might just be game over. But he's going so all in so early on. There wasn't going to be a Speedling flood. There's going to be a regular ling slow trickle of water. Like, it's not that scary.
A small, like, babbling brook, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. So. With the tank out, it's actually aLive feeling very confident in pushing out here. And again, if Speedlings were around, that could be a mistake, but they're not.
Oh, was certain there's no way he would get baited into that Corsair Bile.
But he did.
Yeah, this game is absolutely over for NoRegreT. I've got faith in all this in crazy situations, but even the tank being out here exposed, it's killing a lot of roaches before even going down.
Yeah.
It's kind of stuttering away from the slowlings. If these are Speedlings, I would actually feel a little bit better, but they're not, and that's the problem. Speedling just starts up. GG gets called. Game number 1 gonna go to aLive.
Thanks to GotRec Gold Free for the 13-month resub.
I always thought that was like Gotrick Godfire. It's crazy how different we both read that.
I don't know. I know that's like the way that you said it before. I figured I'd try a new way.
No, I like your way better.
Correct.
I like your way better, to be honest.
It almost says get wrecked, but not quite.
All right. Next map is going to be what, madam? So I can load it. Hello?
Yeah. I have to actually scroll up all the way up.
Oh, I thought you were typing.
Sejong.
I thought you were typing it to search for it. I'm like, just tell me what you're looking for, man.
Oh.
All right, loaded up and good to go on my end. So as soon as everyone else is in the lobby, we'll be ready to party. Again, best of 5s, folks, as we continue on through. See, people were asking about the order. We always do losers match first. So it'll be the losers match after this.
Okay, let's get everyone in here. aLive, NoRegreT. What are you doing in my lobby? I didn't invite you.
Yeah, well, what do you... Shut up. You should have invited me. I'm helping you out. It's teamwork, man. I just passed you the baton.
What? Oh, like a I thought you meant like a twirling baton.
Yeah, now dance. Now dance.
Why would you give me that?
All right. Looks like players are ready, so we can hop right into it right away. So, King Sejong Station with that really cool intro. Someone was asking earlier about this intro, by the way. Nobody new made this. This is actually one of my original intros. So see you guys soon. I love it. Someone in chat called that corrosive bile that hit his own units a selfie. I guess it's tactically true. You hit yourself. But all right, game number 2. In the bottom right side, we've got the Red Terran player aLive.
In the top left, as the blue Zerg, he is NoRegreT.
So you mentioned it last time, like, speaking of a freak of freaks, just kind of funny considering how many of them made up basically our entire Korean bracket.
Yeah, I figure freaks and MVP just going around town.
Well, not so much MVP anymore, it feels.
No, not anymore.
But speaking of MVP, that's, of course, where NoRegreT's been staying in Korea in the MVP house, so training alongside some pretty good players. He's actually been posting some videos and some vlog-type stuff, which has been kind of cool. And the one I really enjoyed was one of the first ones where he was showing the actual team house. I've always been curious like what that house would look like, and it is just this giant foyer where they've lined the computers along the walls and segmented them into like the Zerg, the Protoss, and the Terran.
You have no idea how much I've like always dreamed of having like a team, the team house, and just having that exact setup. Just walking in and going, get back to work, and then leaving.
You dream about that until all the guys start farting and messes are made and no one listens to you.
That's why I go in to get back to work, and then I leave. Like, I got my own little office, Rifkin, so it's fine.
Wow, you do live in a mansion.
Yeah, exactly. No, this would be a mansion. This wouldn't be some, you know, dinky old Korean house.
It's just, I was listening to Brian Regan recently, and he goes off on this whole thing about how the only people who are allowed to call it a mansion is like anybody except who actually owns the house. You can't call your own house a mansion. But for everyone else, like, you see the house he lives in? It's a mansion.
No one wants to admit they live in a mansion.
I
The thing
don't-
is, like today, at least where I live, right? Like I don't know if it's true all over the world, but like we're a pretty affluent neighborhood, not gonna lie. And technically our houses like are the size of some old plantations, right? But they're not
Wow.
mansions. You
See,
drive
for
down
me-
10 minutes and you get to mansions that have like 30 rooms.
No, see, I'm like, oh, you have 2 bathrooms? You live in a mansion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's me.
exactly. Because I remember my old house in Maryland was a lot smaller. Like it was still 3 levels, but damn, it was a lot smaller.
No, like seriously, actually, just now considering it, I think that the amount of bathrooms you have impresses me more than the amount of bedrooms you have. Because while I'm quoting like odd
I
comedians
agree.
here, Mitch Hedberg had a thing with like, isn't it up to you to determine how many bedrooms you have? Like this bedroom has a stove in it.
I would definitely agree. Like it's fancy when you go to like your friend's house and they're like, just use my bathroom, and you're like,
You
A
have your
bathroom
own bathroom.
what?
What is this little sink next to the toilet?
I don't understand. Yeah,
Oh, it's a
Well-
bidet.
I don't think they're that fancy.
Well, then they're not fancy enough. Okay,
Oh, okay.
bit of a slow build up, but we do have some things starting to rise. We got +1 weapons being selected to go for out of NoRegreT, but for melee specifically. So, wanting to stick to this Ling style, we've been watching True and Snoot and some others really just abuse and really take advantage of what is like this mass Ling, mass battling style. I don't know that's gonna work versus aLive. I think I'm gonna be a little too old school, and NoRegret's best bet may actually be to try and get to late game, because aLive has not exactly looked foolproof when it comes to fighting against ultras or not.
Well, this might. No, he has a wall. Never mind. Well, it's not a wall. It's
Well-
a diagonal little Sim City here.
Yeah, I feel like, oh, you know what? Oh my God, this is the wall Trump promises to build. This will be the wall
He
he
just gives
actually
up.
builds.
It's like a tank in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be mildly obnoxious to kill your supply depots, because that will supply block aLive if he doesn't get right on it. But with a tank now out, NoRegreT might be regretting the Baneling Nest.
Ha!
Okay. Anyway, so I think like the Baneling Nest was definitely for a Baneling bust if things are starting to really snowball. Like if the bunker wasn't there, but when I didn't get a good hit, then you'd go for the Banelings to really punish them. But now the Baneling Nest is just going to probably be defensive. I don't know about going.
It's
for
interesting because like
Banelings.
between the Widowmine, that odd bunker wall, and that tank, there's really just no way you're going to cost effectively. It's going to take you 6 Banelings to get on top of the bunker, plus like another, we'll say 4 or 5 just to survive the tank/marine fire. It just would not be worth it for NoRegreT to actually try and break that.
Yeah, and you really don't want to go for a super early Baneling Nest anymore. I mean, maybe once upon a time that was your only defense against early game attacks, but now roaches exist, so you usually are waiting. Like that was definitely for a follow-up that just wasn't going to happen with aLive's build and SimCity. So kudos to aLive for playing safe. I think he really has easily figured out what NoRegreT's playstyle is, because it's not like these people don't exist in like Korea and Europe, right? There's cheesers and aggressive players all over the world.
It's about identifying
And,
who you're playing against, so a lot of times.
Yeah.
Interesting point. NoRegreT's macro has actually been too good. He's been nailing every inject, so these queens have almost no energy, and had he missed some, he could have chance to use that Overlord. I'm just saying. Alright, Liberator coming into setup. This is where it gets a little bit problematic. He didn't go for Roaches, so he doesn't have Ravagers. No Spore Crawlers are made, and of course that layer only just finishing up. You're not actually going to have Spire ready to go yet. These drops already getting a little out of hand, and NoRegreT, I hate to say it, is already feeling flippy-floppy out of this game.
It's gonna flip flop right out of this game. Flip flops. Anyway, I agree. The Spire, which I thought he was gonna go up to immediately, is delayed, I guess, because of this harassment, and it's not doing any more damage. It looks like it already has killed quite a few drones, and I guess the Liberator backed this up. No, how did that one other drone die? I'm not even sure. I guess he did get one when he dropped, and I just missed it. Well, anyways, I didn't think he was going to get that much more damage. I thought he split his lings, but 5 more workers killed, and now finally the Spire starts with difficult hooks, but NoRegreT has already taken some serious damage. He wasn't a very good drone count to begin with, and then just losing 15 there really hurt.
Well, the drop finally gets resolved. The weapon upgrades are going to be nice. I mean, the Baneling's going to be paired up with this too. They're going to have speed, and it does look like NoRegreT's only chance is to go for this one Hail Mary bust. but even with the upgrades on his side, he's down in supply, which not exactly a good thing for a Zerg player.
No, it's not a good thing at all. The first attack here from aLive probably will win the game. Granted he controls it pretty perfectly, but he's got to be feeling very good and probably will control it very well. NoRegreT might be able to get like 2-3 mutas to try and counter, but that's not going to be very dangerous. So.
Well, let's say if big asterisk next to it, NoRegreT can take a halfway decent fight, he may find himself fighting back into the game. Being on the 4th base, it's not going to be too hard for him to sneak in drones after the fact. But right now he's going into this with, I feel like, maybe 10 drones too few. He doesn't really have a lot of money in his bank, almost no gas to make a lot of banelings with. Hoping to just catch units out in the open, which is not a bad move. He will actually get some SCVs here, which will be nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. But aLive going for that little tricky spots on the left side of NoRegreT's base is going to be very hard to deal with. Mutas might have been helpful in the situation, but NoRegreT's actually going for Corruptors.
Corruptors would serve a purpose here, actually, funny enough. Actually, the Eggs are going to get killed, so they're dead. Wow, okay, Corruptors now denied. I was going to say Corruptors could at least pick off the medevacs, remove the high ground vision, and the tanks are under problem, they can't be picked up and saved. So, I mean, Corruptors would still serve a purpose, but it's almost too late. The tanks do go down, but not without losing that natural base. Drones dying elsewhere, drop slums have been cleaned up, spawning pool is about to go down. I was talking about flip and flop, and NoRegreT's about to flip flop right off the edge of this cliff, and this is sadly going to be a 2-0 lead for aLive, I think, following this up.
Yep. It was a 2-0 lead for Super as well, and he was able to bring it back, or Armani was able to bring it back to an ace match, but it's clear that NoRegreT's aggression is not phasing aLive, and without the aggression, what is NoRegreT?
He's NoRegreT-shin.
Anyway, but seriously, like, it's not that I'm like lamenting that he's going for an all-in or anything like that. Like, I think that there are aggressive Zergs that work out. I mean, hell, Life made a career out of being aggressive, right?
Well,
and then they got
made
jailed,
a career out of something else too, yeah.
But
aggressively frauding the system.
It was, I don't know how to explain it better, as controlled. It was actually scaring his opponent, making them like make mistakes when they shouldn't have, and then he was capitalizing on that. Unfortunately, NoRegreT is not phasing aLive.
No, not here, not now, at least. Game number 2 goes to aLive. We're going to go to a small break, though, guys, while we clean this up and see if this will be the last game coming up next. Keep in mind that the loser of this will fight next. We do losers match, winners match, finals. So stick around, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes. All right, we're back as we continue on with this best of 5. He's 1 game away from winning this best of 5, leading 2-0. It is going to be the blue Terran player aLive.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, he is NoRegreT.
Again, I just want to shout out to Twitch for this new reasons thing they put in. You can like time people out, give a reason why. You can ban people, give a reason why. There's a lot of truly fun things you can do with that, but in seriousness, it's great to see like somebody was timed out, not just unfairly and unjustly, and it's like has been shit posting for 12 minutes straight or things like that. Another great thing for Twitch though is they use that to segue into the clips contest. Just reminding everybody to check out that Reddit thread with Twitch clips. We haven't had anything particularly crazy or action-packed happen yet, and frankly, I don't know what this group will look like going forward, but we got so many good TING matches coming up in the near future, guys. We're going to have a lot of good games. We're casting every day this week, so make sure you get clips sorted and clipped so you get some cool stuff to give away. Or so, rather, you can receive some of the cool stuff we're giving away. Excuse me.
Yeah. Funny stuff or interesting fights or really cool moments. All up for grabs. Dusk Tower is going to take a while to get started to heat up. NoRegreT does go for a 3-hatch or 4 pool.
So that's
pretty dangerous, but
I think like to do that on say game 1 would be a nice move. To do this on game 3, where you're already on your last life, is risky. But for NoRegreT, the rationalization may be like I need to play a little bit more on the macro side of things. I need to get to those ultras. This is the one map I'd be able to do that on. That's maybe the map he beats aLive on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do want to emphasize though, Because we did see, for example, such a terrible Ultra game out of Guru compared to some of the really sick Ultra games we see out of people like Nurchio and Bly and Scarlet and Snoot, etc. One of the key things for NoRegreT is, I think, not just going straight to Ultras. You can't just always, I guess sometimes you can, but you can't always roll around your face on the keyboard with Ultras and win. Nurchio, for example, does cool things like integrates Nidus Worm. Some other players will do things that do or don't work, like Guru with drops. But I think one of the key elements is the Ultras do force a Terran into a position of the game where you have to play around the Zerg's standards. Like, you no longer get to drop everywhere and pick your fights the same way you could do up to that point. And I think for aLive, like, when I think about him as a player, a lot of what it is like he's always in control. So the second you take some of that back, I think is where you really find your best fighting chance.
Yeah. Very close with the Reaper there, but takes out 3 of those Lings, so nicely done by him. And survives. I think the scout went down on that 3rd hatchery.
Didn't see the back.
Actually, did not. So that's a little confusing, but...
It's interesting because before anybody started doing that move where you take your natural out here, it was never really a question at all, like, what they're doing. Some of those mind games they need to, though, have made it more interesting for, I think, Zerg players to play around, but for, of course, us to scout. Or the opponents, excuse me, to scout.
Alright, so this could be a problem. It really depends on, like, when did aLive scout that 3rd base? Did he see it finish? I honestly don't know, because of course he's been rechecking it. But it looks like he doesn't feel too scared. Like, he's not getting a bunker. He's going for a pretty safe build in that it has early production. Not a tank this time, though. It's safe versus Lings with those Hellions, but not much else.
It's bold to be calling the bluff on this, too, because NoRegreT has shown 2 varying forms of all-ins leading up into this. I wouldn't be too surprised to see, like, a 2-base all-in on game 3. Maybe aLive has also just got the, like, Korean ego. Haha, this foreigner. Probably went for 3 hatcheries. Commonplace.
Well, he'd certainly be mistaken if he thinks it's going to be a macro game. We have a Baneliness and a lot of Lings on the way. This is something we usually see in response to, like, an Overlord scouting a 3rd CC. And usually the Terrans, if they do something greedy like that, or, like, you know, they're hunkering down, they're getting all those bunkers and whatnot. But it's not actually the case here. A Liberator is not going to really help out against Ling and Banelings, although it might be able to provide some counter damage. I think the amount of Lings has got to be a tell, but I still don't see aLive really worrying about it. This is more than enough Lings to just, you know, push back Hellions, which if you're going to play a macro game is really all you need.
Yeah. Well, there might not be a bunker here on the high ground. Wouldamai might get an amazing hit. 3 bunkers are coming down as we speak, and those should be finished before this wall even gets broken. So, NoRegreT is going to have to back away. Liberate comes on the other side of the map. Drone counts are about even, but this Baneling bus is going to be in Vaneling bus, as, again, 3 bunkers are set up behind this.
Yeah, that's not going to work out anymore. Not at all. The NoRegreT's still going to try. Just dedicate. This is actually might be a problem now that the medevacs have all picked up. He abandons the bunkers and then says, no, wait a minute. Don't abandon the bunkers. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work.
I almost saw the Banelings go down right away. Bunker is going to get broken on the left side. Actually pulls out of it. Bunker on the right side might get surrounded. You know, NoRegreT's got a lot of Lings, and these Marines don't have a lot of health. Unfortunately, though, those bunkers appear to be buying just enough time. Although that one on the right doesn't really cover much. Does raise the depot so they can't get through to the natural. That's clever. Trying to throw his 3rd CC down while this goes down tells you how much aLive has confidence in holding. NoRegreT sitting on 1,000 minerals behind this. Didn't realize how badly his larva slipped. Oh, God. He has no production capabilities. Oh, dear.
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, my God. Seriously, 0 larva. That is...
I mean, look at his queens.
Problems.
I think he was busy looking elsewhere, so a lot of these injects were just off while this went on.
Oh, God. Well, this is probably going to be game as soon as aLive can actually push out here. If he drops on top of Lings, that probably won't be the solution, but if he drops prior to pushing in, that might just kill NoRegreT. Also didn't have, like, a ton of gas until recently, as he did, you know, get that lair. He just hadn't taken a lot of gases, so actually could be a problem getting to the Baneling count he needs to defend. A couple queens go down. It's quite unfortunate. The Liberator's actually done a bit of damage, which any damage at all is going to be pretty terrible. Finally, we have some Banelings come in. Only 3, though.
Well, I almost feel like that may have been an overreaction to the Liberator. Like, he really reached back, and it wasn't covering much of the mineral patches for it to be too relevant. Regardless, this wouldn't mind Duskier off the Lings, waiting for that Baneling to finish up. It does finally finish up, but unfortunately, again, like aLive just has too much and too good of an army, and this is, I guess, held off initially.
At least without combat shields, and now they have combat shields, and more importantly, they're going to have reinforcements. So this drop is not going to end the game, but this next push out just might. NoRegreT still unable to spend his entire bank. Still doesn't have that, you know, good of a gas income. He only still has 1 gas. Oh, well, that's a problem. Now it takes 2 more, but
I mean,
he's
in
not going to
fairness,
have a lot.
A lot of this was focused around Lings. You're only using the Baneling to bust the wall. You weren't supposed to actually take this mid-game fight. For NoRegreT, this should have been over by now. I mean, it will be soon, but not the way he hoped it would be.
Not at all. Now I want the Marines to help reinforce this, but the tanks are in such a good position.
Yeah, with no armor upgrades, they're still one-shotting a lot of those Lings too, so those just get picked off, and that's 1,000 minerals in the bank, sadly, so NoRegreT is probably going to die here.
Yep.
Luckily, though, he does have a loser's match to fall back to, and this is not a single elimination tournament. This is still that group stage bracket style of play.
And we mentioned earlier that NoRegreT, he beat Armani. We specifically mentioned that score, and that's who he's going to face. So
yeah, and I know this guy in chat is trolling, but like, did they really use an invite on NoRegreT? And the thing is, NoRegreT showed up to both Korean qualifiers, and he didn't do too badly. He didn't exactly exceed expectations, but he didn't do too badly. So I actually had no problem giving NoRegreT an invite to this tournament. Well, this did not look good versus aLive. I don't think a lot of other Zerg players would have either. Not to rationalize or make excuses, I think this went about as expected. I think we're going to get to see a good showing on NoRegreT what comes up next, though.
Yeah, and the losers will be up next.
Yep. So, Running Dude, thank you so much for the 11-month resub. Almost at his Partoof count. Nice. We're going to load up some commercials here. If XSplit ever wants to respond, there we go. We mentioned before about the rates for TING, so I'll play the ad specifically related to that. Again, TING doesn't have plans, so it's really awesome is if you guys need a mobile phone carrier and you're like, I don't want to get locked in for a year to TING, it's okay because you don't. You pay for what you use. That's what's so great about it. So, word from our sponsors while we get this next game set up, or this next series set up, excuse me. We'll be back soon with the losers match. That's the map intro. Rifkin, what are you doing? What is this, your first day on the job? All right.